The WYcast is made possible by people going on the ExP homepage, www.exp.uk, and buying my albums on vinyl and CD and getting merch as well. So big thanks to everyone who has. And if you enjoy these podcasts, please consider helping out by going and buying some. Hello, and welcome to the second series of the WYcast. I'm ExP, a hip-hop musician based in West Yorkshire, WY. I made a decision in the last year or so that I should invest time in helping promote and support the West Yorkshire hip-hop scene that I know and love so well. A scene which has supported my involvement in music for over 2 decades. Yes, I am that fucking old. Last season I spoke about my wish to talk to those involved in hip-hop in West Yorkshire, and I said I'd expand my search out to soul and jazz as well, but a spreadsheet I've inevitably put together puts the number of active MCs and producers in West Yorkshire at approximately 200, and I'm finding out about new people every week. Therefore, at this rate, this will probably be a West Yorkshire hip-hop specific podcast for at least the next 7 years? If you're an active and involved West Yorkshire hip-hop artist, I will want to speak to you at some point and find out what it's all about for you. There's not much method to who I choose to get on, but I insist on doing these outside, so there's West Yorkshire scenery in the background where possible. And the weather has absolutely trolled me in a lot of cases. I'm meeting people I have a lot of history with and people I barely know, all with the intention of connecting WY hip-hop artists and giving you, the listener, a chance to know the people behind the great music they make. And on this week, we've got Jay Bravo, an absolute hero of the WY scene. He's been in the game for years. It made him an animal. He's an absolute legend. It was really good to chat to him and sort of connect the dots over what's been going on with his music career over these years. So, yeah. And get interrupted all the time by people going, yo, and just chatting to him because, like, he knows everyone because he's a sick guy. I'm sat with Jay Bravo, a.k.a. Bruce Leeds, who I would say, right, I was thinking about this earlier, and I would say, if not in West Yorkshire, definitely in Leeds, one of the most respected, like, hip-hop artists going. There isn't a single person that I'll have on this podcast who doesn't know who you are and won't have a good thing to say about you, you know what I mean? Because it feels like you've been in the game for absolutely years.
Zonkers, yeah. I think I'm in Zonkers now.
What year were you born, bro?
I was born in 1982.
82, okay.
Because December, yeah.
My understanding of you was, the first time I ever heard about you was when you were with that crew in Invizible Circle.
Yes, yeah.
So would you say that was when you came through into the scene? Remind me that, was it Technical? What were the crew called again?
Junkyard Tactics.
Junkyard Tactics, word.
Yes.
So is that the first kind of rap crew that you were in, or when did the rap journey start for you?
No, it wasn't the first. Well, the rap journey started in high school.
Where'd you go?
Music. I went to Round Day School for a couple of years. Then I went to Allerton High School.
Nice.
So at Allerton High School, they had an Atari in the music room.
Sick.
And I asked my teacher, Miss Price at the time, I was like, why is there a computer in here? I don't get the connection.
Yeah, but not complaining.
So, this was an old yellow screen, black and yellow screen Atari, them days. And they used to use Cubase Lite, which was like a a demo version of Cubase to basically record exams. They used to record the
spoken
the
piano,
exams. They used to record people who could play. They used to record their exams using the MIDI function.
Okay.
And then they would put them on tape and send them off.
Right.
So I just started to get a bit more inquisitive about this program that you can record music on.
Wow.
And then she explained MIDI and how it can use all the different instruments on the keyboard to put together compositions.
Right.
So that's how I started making
and
beats.
that's like your production beginnings.
Yeah.
So you were messing with MIDI and stuff and just the settings on Cubase and Cubase Lite?
Yeah, just using Cubase and Casio keyboard.
Nice. What was why was the Atari there?
It was, like I said, it was just there to record exams.
Cubase was on the Atari?
Yeah.
Damn, I'm thinking like Atari with Space Invaders and stuff
it was an Atari like PC basically.
Nice.
It was like a very old one.
So you could only make. So were you making beats? What were you?
I was making beats.
And you making beats in school?
Yeah.
Based on what sort of music? What sort of genre of music was that?
It was all hip hop. I was just making basically fake mob deep beats. You know what I mean?
So when did you first get into hip hop? How did you get into hearing about it?
Well, I was growing up. I mean, I was 80s, so of course Run DMC had What This Way was in the charts. And then there was the Hammer and Vanilla Ice wave that happened.
Yeah.
I'd say my first real taste of hip hop was watching House Party, the movie House Party. That was that was like my first time really seeing, just kind of getting a sense of the scene really, because House Party was the first time where like I saw a rap battle, where I saw a dance battle, where I saw like the DJ like being the center of the party, and how important it was to take care of the sound system, and just think elements like that.
Man, that's an inspiring film. The whole film covered the whole 9 yards for you.
Yeah, it just had that kind of thing. But then, of course, like when Wu-Tang happened, like that's when
that was a life changer for you. Well, you'll have been 11 when 36 Chambers dropped.
And
they say like at age 11 is the time when you absorb music the most, I think. So like it's 93 is an amazing era.
Even then,
to get
I
into
was
that.
still like maybe a bit like a year later. So it was more like when Cuban Links and Liquid Swords basically was around. I think the first Wu-Tang stuff I ever heard was ODB's actually.
Oh really?
Yeah,
that's a mental
ODB's
album, man.
was the first one I heard. And then by then my cousin had already had Tikal, so he showed me Method Man's album. And then I don't know which DJ it was on Genesis FM, but it could have been anybody from like Depths to LP to Menza, all the Dark Side Gs and the young DJs around the scene. They were all the hip hop guys. And one of them did a Wu-Tang special and just basically had like whatever Wu-Tang that they had. They
put it on.
Played that for like 2 hours on Pirate Radio.
So who's that? You say Depths because I've seen that name
about. It could
about.
have been Depths. Yeah, it could have been because there was like all like Depths, LP, Kenny, Menza, like they were the hip hop guys in our area that just had everything.
And Genesis FM, was that local to your area?
That was one of the pirate radio stations.
I miss pirate radio, shit like that, man.
Yeah.
Mate, it must have been legendary, man, doing stuff like that. So, because just, I mean, fast forwarding a lot, but I've seen the name Depths mentioned alongside your music a lot. So is that a guy that you sort of were looking up to? Originally, he was doing pirate radio, and then you ended up
definitely. They're working together. Depths. Depths is one of the like premier producers in our area. Like a really big influence. He's really like the backbone of like the 2000s era of like the hip hop that was going on in our area. So like when like Yorkshire Terriers came about, when Stay Focused came about, like he was at the center. Like it was pretty much his mum's basement was where all the magic happened.
No way, I didn't know any of this. Bro, I think I were on Facebook asking for like West Yorkshire based producers and rappers and stuff like that, and I think you jumped in and was like Depths, and I've got to hold my hand up. I'd never heard of the guy, but
like his family have always been supportive of my music as well. So his auntie is a manager at the West Yorkshire Playhouse.
Oh, nice.
So a lot of projects and schemes that involved people from the area getting involved in productions that happened at the PlayStation, at the Playhouse. Were like 90% of the time it was through her. Do you know what I mean? Especially if it was based in that area.
Okay.
And then her, his cousin, who's her son, Simon Howarth, is a close friend of mine. And frequent collaborator on my project.
What's his rap name?
Houdini.
Oh yeah, I have
Houdini.
seen that. Nice.
Yeah,
nice.
so he's a frequent collaborator of mine. Do you know what I mean?
So you're growing up in the early 90s, listening to this stuff like Cuban Links and stuff, and then you're at school with this Atari and like starting to faff around with MIDI beats and making it sound like fake Mobb Deep. You say? At what point then did you were you already sort of writing a few bars, or when you?
Yeah, but they were all pretty lame.
Well, you were only young, innit?
Yeah. My first rap name was Vampire.
Vampire.
And I was trying to sound like Busta Rhymes.
American accent and a lot, yeah?
Oh, yeah. It was all American accent. That's how hip-hop, that's how rap sounded. Rap sounded American accent back then.
We're similar age, man, and I started with an American accent.
Everyone, I think everyone except Skinny Man and London Posse had an American accent.
Yeah, and eventually grew out of it or whatever. So Vampire, when did J Bravo come in, and why J Bravo?
Because of Johnny Bravo.
The Cartoon Network TV show. Just because I mean it was funny as fuck because it like caught a vibe off that sort of thing.
Well, I just thought Johnny Bravo was hip hop. Like, you know, it's attire. It was
I thought it was more Elvis, me. Oh,
Well,
and all that.
yeah,
Oh, mama.
but it's Elvis. But then he also, well, it's an amalgamation of everything. You know,
True.
he talked like Elvis, but then he loved kung fu.
True,
and
yeah,
then he
yeah,
always
yeah.
wore trainers, jeans, and a t-shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And he was always trying to attract girl.
Nice.
So,
And you stuck with Jay Bravo all
yeah,
that time,
I stuck
man.
with Jay Bravo.
Because have you seen that's a tricky thing to YouTube now? Have you seen that Jay Bravo guy who's running up like hundreds of thousands of views, and he's just some sort of white supremacist kind of like.
Right. No, I don't know that one. I know the one that does all like tells people about like
conspiracy theories.
Well, not him. I know the one that does all the like financial advice. The Jay Bravo that does financial advice. Yeah.
Trying to get through the algorithm
and
with
talks
that.
about like how to like invest in stocks, how to pull out before the crashes and all that kind of stuff.
Jay Bravo's got some good advice. Andy makes beats. Fire, man.
Yeah. But I didn't get the impression that he was racist. So
no, that's not the same guy. I'll show you the guy I'm on about. I know whether he's racist. He's just one of them like Alex Jones type
like
conspiracy theories. Wake up, sheeple, that kind of dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and you've got the name Bruce Leeds as well, which I think everyone when they heard that was like, well, that's the sickest name ever. Is that like production only kind of name?
Yeah. So that's like a production handle. T always describes that as my rap style. When I came up with it, he was like, "That's your battle." T Jackson.
T Jackson, right.
DJ Tipsy.
Yeah.
So he was like, "Yeah, that's your rap style." And I was like,
Bruce Leeds, yeah. Well, it's funny with that kung fu background as well with the Bruce Lee, and then also the Jay Bravo, the Johnny Bravo had a kung fu thing as well.
Wu-Tang being an influence.
Of course, it's always run through hip hop, hasn't it, man?
But that name came really late. It came when we was making the Defender Style and the Office mixtape.
Oh yeah.
So
Legendary.
that was just a line, and I was just like, why did I never think of this years ago?
Calling you that.
I was like, why has it took me this long to think of something this simple? You know what I mean? So yeah. But Bruce Lee was a very big influence, just in the way I looked at life, basically. Like a lot of the interviews I could find of his, and just his books and his approach, his philosophical approach to martial arts and movies as well. It was always a big influence.
That's fucking sick, man.
The stuff I ended up doing.
So you were rapping under the name Vampire in an American accent.
Yeah.
When did the American accent drop, and were you recording stuff in that accent, or were you just sort of?
Yeah. So high school was ending in 1999, and I was just like, oh well, I had a really good experience making music. And my mum bought me a Yamaha DJX.
Nice.
That had a little kind of create your own music program in it, where it was like, I don't know, maybe it had like 15 minutes of recording time on it and 5 sounds that you could use to make beats. And I was like, okay, classic. I guess this is how I'm going to be making music in my bedroom. Yeah. But in that time, my school friend Jamal was going to an after-school program with a DJ called Boomer. Yeah. And he was doing workshops teaching people how to make their own music. I don't know if Fruity Loops was around then. I don't know.
99,000, maybe like the very first version of it, maybe.
I don't know if they were using Fruity Loops, maybe like the first, but there was all these little weird music making programs. I mean, around that time, my friend K1 was using Music 2000. Do you know, there's so many people that was using Music 2000 to make beats.
I'm going to break it to you, bro. I was rapping over Music 2000 beats. We used to make them on the PlayStation, man, and record them to a mini disc and spit on that.
So many people was doing that. So
it's just what we had available to us for like cheap, innit?
So he said that this guy, he'd ended that program, but he was going to be nearer to us. He was going to be like... there was a centre that was like a few streets up from where I lived, and he said he was going to be holding workshops there. So that's how I ended up continuing to make music outside of school.
Nice.
So I used to so just in my area, I was studying catering, and then that was like across the road from where I lived, and then just a bit further up, I was making music.
Making tunes and that.
And so those guys became like my first rap group.
Which is what we were talking about before.
Which is C.A.G, which was C.A.G.
Ah, so that C.A.G was your first one, which is why Jay Bravo C.A.G.
So C.A.G, yeah. So we went by the Colony, and then we found out that there was another group called the Colony at the same time down in London.
Never even heard of the Colony, right?
Yeah. I remember one of the rappers was called Grimlock. I remember that. They were
Were they
decent.
decent, yeah?
They
All
were
right.
good, but they was like us. They were basically like us in London. They was like inspired by Wu-Tang.
Yeah,
wanted
yeah, yeah.
to be Wu-Tang.
Who wasn't in that era,
Yeah. I think everybody was. I mean, like the Genocide Squad will probably tell you that there was a big influence. There were so many.
Yeah.
You know, it was all cliques in it. Everyone was trying to be the next Rockefeller, the next Rough Riders, the next G Unit. It was all about cliques back then.
So how many of you in CAG?
So CAG, it started off like 9, but it went down to about 5. But the main ones was like myself, J Mill, K1, Dread, and Taurus.
Oh, okay.
Like,
I don't know any of those cats. Are they still
yeah.
rapping and producing now, those guys?
Yeah, K1's still going. Yeah, K1's still going. Jamal, he was a producer. He's stopped now. He's stopped for a while.
Fair.
Dreadman is K1's brother.
I see.
And so he dabbles with it every now and then. But I've got like his music in the vault.
Yeah.
And then Taurus was one of the first like female MCs that was really.
Oh my God,
like,
a female MC.
picking
They're
up
like hen's teeth round here. Man.
Yeah. She was good, but and she found the faith. She went she joined the church.
Oh, right.
Stop rapping.
That's a shame.
Yeah. But she was, even when she joined the church, she was going for a good like 2 years after that.
Yep.
And was, had a band. I don't know if you knew about the Foot Clan. If you ever saw them.
Foot Clan, no, I never heard of them.
Yeah, they were a really good band, and she was the lead artist in that.
No way.
They were doing well, but then like further into the faith, she just decided.
Early thousands, this. Early thousands.
This was like late thousands.
Oh, late
by
thousands,
then. It was
right.
by like 2008, maybe
right.
2007, 8 was when all this was happening. But yeah, basically all through the 2000s was when I was working with these guys.
Were you releasing stuff, or what were you doing, or were you just performing
really,
and that?
It was more just performing. You know what I mean? It took us a while before we started like releasing stuff.
Did you do it physically when you did?
Yeah, we was at the CD, definitely the CD, and just at the beginning of like MySpace was a thing. So we had everyone had their 4 songs that they put on MySpace,
and the top 8. You got the crew in the top 8
the
and that
picture and the There was that, but it was only like 2000, maybe 9, 10 that when we did Dread's album. Dread did 3, and
wow.
K1 did 1, and
man. You got some archival.
Yeah,
you got all this stuff stored on a hard drive somewhere because you've got some old school West Yorkshire stuff.
I've got a lot of it.
Did you hand off, or did he have it already? Much stuff to Monk for the Leeds hip hop historian.
He
thing?
had
Is
the
he
stuff.
taking some of it?
The stuff he had it.
He's got it already.
He must have had it from.
Good historian
from
work from
them,
man.
Yeah.
So performing, bro, because you've always seemed like a natural performer. I've seen you a few times on stage, and I only saw you a couple of weeks ago actually with Oliver Reese.
Yeah.
You've always just seemed like the guy, always like super confident with it. Was it just something straight out of school that you were like, I love performing, I want to be on stage? Like,
well, a lot of it, yeah. I mean, I was like, it started young because I wanted to be Michael Jackson, so I was never shy to get up and do something. Get up and do the dance. Get up and do a song.
Yeah.
A lot of it comes from like all those guys in primary school. Break time. We used to hold concerts. Yeah.
That's cool.
It's funny because like we used to hold concerts. It's mad because like there's my friend Tyrone that used to always be the host of the concert and used to be announcing the acts and stuff. He ended up being DJ Tigger, and he's a prominent DJ and promoter still to this day.
Sick.
The guy that was always drumming, there was always drumming on whatever we could find, was called Nathaniel, called Pinney.
Yeah.
Nathan Pinney. He now runs his own radio station. Yeah.
Man, so you all kind of went into creative things just out of that primary school vibe of just doing it. So you were happy, and because like I think in primary school, I think a lot of people are sort of have that confidence of just like, look at me, I'm going to do a forward roll, whatever. But then puberty hits, and suddenly you're like, oh my God, don't look at me, and don't. Would that not happen for you? Were you just like happy to perform regardless?
Like my mum was always trying to get me involved in stuff, so like. There was always a project, there was always a youth club, there was always a class that she was trying to get me involved in, and one of those things was at the West Yorkshire Playhouse. Yeah. So there was I think it was called the Whippets.
Right.
I think that's what it was called, and it was a workshop happened for for youngsters. So I ended up getting into that, and that led me to being able to get involved in productions there.
Wow.
And getting involved in plays.
That's cool that those things are in place. I'm not too sure whether things are in place quite the same for like a young person coming through in a similar sort of way. It doesn't seem like there's many youth groups and opportunities for them to do that kind of thing.
It's a bit mad. And the ones that I know of, they're not cheap. Do you know what I mean?
Of course, yeah. So if your parents can afford it, no worries.
There's a lot of academies where it's like, oh, there's a dance academy here and there's acting academy.
Oh yeah,
there.
you can pay out your ass for all sorts of stuff. But what happens to the guy who's grown up with not much and but still wants to do something creative?
It's not as easy. It's not as easy. I mean, we're always trying to figure out ways that we can establish things like that again. I think the last thing in that area that was really strong like that was the Leeds Young Authors.
Oh right.
But politics forced them to have to shut it down, but we could never understand it because they were really successful. They were doing schemes where they were taking poets to America to compete in slams
and then just had to shut the whole thing down because of lack of funding.
Yeah. It was just like
terrible, isn't it? We can't afford this anymore, and it's like you're taking people who are creative but don't have a wealthy background and giving them opportunities. Anything like that is amazing, but as soon as you shut them down, then you can see what happens. Like crime rises, and people don't have the same outlets they had before, and whatever. It's just like, man,
it was really unfortunate. It was unfortunate for them.
So C.A.G are doing their thing, and you're doing a bit of recording and all the rest of it. So where's the crossover between C.A.G and what you were doing with Invizible? Because Invizible Circle felt like, you were saying about that crew thing, everyone, Wu-Tang. When Invizible Circle was like Leeds, I was like, whoa, here they are, man.
Well, Invizible Circle was in tangent. It kind of ran along the same
at the same time.
It was all going. So
was it Monk who brought you into that?
Yeah.
How'd you meet him?
Yeah, Monk. I met him because when we was working C.A.G when it was the Colony.
Yeah.
So when it was the Colony, Monk was brought in as the person that helped design the art cover.
Oh right.
For our little CD that we were moving around. So that's how I met him. And then in between that, he would tell us, "Oh look, I'm trying to start a record label, and I want to get all the people I know together." And we can try to see how we can just start up independent. His theory was if we bind everyone together and we all just stack up money, then we can be completely independent.
Yeah. He's always been about that, and good on him, man. Like, certainly community.
That was the primary objective. The secondary objective was to make the people in Chapeltown and Hare Hills aware of the Hyde Park scene.
The Hyde Park scene? What do you mean by that?
So, basically, because Monk, Shea Fenton, they were based in Hyde Park at that time. Right. And so, we wasn't really aware of the MCs that were.
I see, right.
And the scenes out there and the park shows that they were doing, and they weren't really aware of what we was doing.
Which is mental considering it's a 10, 15 minute drive between the two places.
Yeah. So, it was weird. So, the Invisible Circle was really, I'd say, the Invisible Circle and Dr. Wu's was
that was the spot.
First time that really both scenes were interacting with each other.
Must have been crazy, man.
On a regular basis.
Must have been a beautiful thing, right?
Yeah.
All those cultures
definitely.
coming together like that.
Yeah.
So what happened down Dr. Wu's? Because I went there a couple of times before it shut down, did a few gigs there and stuff. It was only a tiny little spot.
Yeah.
But it was so sick for music.
That wasn't my frequent. I went there a few times.
Yeah.
And loved it every time.
What was your frequent?
My frequent was probably Carpe Diem.
Nice.
When it's lyrically justified.
Lyrically justified. I was just about to say that was the spot, man. Do you know what? When Drop died recently, which was a regular night that Mick used to put on, it seems like a really good platform.
We're trying to talk to him.
It needs doing because
I don't know. Did you see his message when he put up and he said
he was like, "It's money
maybe
and age."
October. Well,
he might bring back a 10-year.
He said maybe October one more time. He said that.
When Drop died,
we'll talk about that.
We'll move on to that. Because I always thought Lyrically Justified was kind of the original Drop. if you know what I mean, or
It's-
like it was an environment where you could get a set, perform in front of some people, and it was central where people coming through and all the rest of it.
Definitely.
And when it stopped, it was like, man, that's independent music is dead in Leeds now. You've done that. What the hell? Obviously, Carpe Diem's long gone, but so you were jumping through there. What booking on sets?
Yeah,
and stuff?
well, I used to work there. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. I started off work. I was working there, and so Lyrically Justified. It started off in Headingley.
Oh, did
and
it?
Then, yeah, they managed to.
Where was it up in Headingley, bro?
They were up in like, I don't even think it was Headingley. I think it was like, past Lawns. It was in like the university campus.
Oh, right.
Past Lawnswood. Easy. Yeah, it was right up there, man. And they were like the first like 5 shows. Do you know what I mean? And
then moved it to Carpe.
They were a bit mad.
And then moved it to Carpe Diem where you were already working, so you could get the good slot.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't even that. It was just good. It was just happenstance. It was there, but it was a thing where I wasn't like every month I was performing. I would just like check out the acts as well. Do you know what I mean? And so it was a good place because you didn't get. It wasn't an antagonistic environment where you'd get like booze and all that kind of stuff.
Well,
didn't
quite
do all
supportive.
That kind of stuff.
Supportive,
like,
positive.
Yeah. It's like you get your time, you do your thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And there'd be all sorts,
give
right?
you feedback.
Be some guitarists. There'd be some like.
There's that. If there's people you want to work with, you know, we give you feedback if you require it. Or, Or you ask or you need it. Do you know what I mean? There was also that, and it was just it was friendly. Do you know what I mean?
Did you end up collaborating with anyone through like meeting them through Lyrically Justified or all that?
I'm pretty sure. I mean, Illiterate and his guys. Yeah, I was doing a lot of work with him.
Nice.
There were what was his name? There's one guy that I've just recorded something, and he said he was from back then.
No way.
Yeah, there's one guy I recently bumped into. I forgot his name. Oh man.
So Lyrically Justified, did
Psyker herself, yeah.
Oh,
working with
right.
Psyker, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And did you do stuff with Invisible Circle then there, or was that just more like somewhere you cut your teeth?
That was like after Invisible Circle. Invisible Circle went from about 2001 to 2005.
Yeah.
But it still now exists as digital platform. So
you put out your first vinyl. Was that your first record?
Yeah. Junkyard Tactics.
Word.
Yeah, that was put out for Invisible Circle.
Was that must have been a big deal for you at the time?
It was, yeah. And like I said, we did it independently. We hopped on the train down to London and was promoting there. We hopped on the train to Hull. And was promoting up there. We did a show in vinyl. We did a show in Bradford.
Nice.
And met Dynamo.
Yeah, he was still kicking around then. Just before he got famous.
Just before, yeah. It was like a year before we did a show in Bradford. And Dynamo was just out there. Hey, how you doing?
Yeah, with his little tip jar and that.
Thing with his cards. Just like,
I grew up in Bradford, so I have the luxury of all the hip hop nights I went to. He was there in the corner doing card tricks and taking tips.
Little thing. So it was like, okay, yeah, nice one.
There he is, and now he's the biggest fucking name in the UK.
And then like the next year was like his first show that he did on Channel 4, where it was basically just doing the same thing.
Yeah.
But it was documented, but it was literally just going around. I'll show you a trick.
Sick.
But his tricks were a lot better by then.
He got better. Yeah, definitely. But he was still sick. He was still sick back in the day. He used to drag people and show them. So I was like, look at this guy, and then he'd do some mad shit.
Yeah,
but
he did like the lighter trick and stuff and all that. I was like,
something not a lot of people know about me. Dynamo's first ever tape that he put together of his tricks and stuff. He was like filming around Bradford, and I was in that. And I didn't know it was going to happen, but like we sort of chatting. I knew we had a mutual friend, and like I freestyled while my mate beatboxed, and it was the shittest thing in the world, bro. Embarrassing, and it was on this tape, and thank God that I think he was like, "This is a dirt tape. We're never putting this out." Apart from, after a year later or whatever, and I was so grateful because honestly, that is the most embarrassing moment of my life. That shit, but
I'm not the best of freestylers either.
Nah. Well, interestingly, I wasn't either, and the reason I started the WY Cypher was to practice, and it wasn't even called a WY Cypher, it was just a practice session at the time. But I'm surprised that you never... Did you ever come through to that? I know, like, Matt brought a lot of people through, but I feel... Did you maybe come to one session?
I think I came to one, maybe like the first or the second one.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like you were there for one of them.
I catered very early, if I did.
Yeah.
I
think there was a time when Matt was just bringing everyone through, kind of, but it was a really good way to meet everyone. Because I did that. I think one of the first times I ever met you properly, unless it was through the studio, but even then in the cypher, you're just like, yo, nice bars, and then you get on with your life. But Matt, Luna, and I was producing a radio show, the WY Radio.
Okay.
And I'm sure you came through for like a feature interview.
Okay.
And did Spits and Bars. Do you have any recollection of that though?
There's a lot of ones. Oh no! Like when I was in the museum, I was looking at pictures and I was like, I can't tell you when I took that picture. There's some of them I'm just like, I don't have no context of what.
The problem when you had like a 20-year career, bro. Like,
but sometimes I'll be like, oh, I remember that top. I wish I still had that top. But that was it. Yeah. But there's a few things like that where people have come to me and been like, oh, do you remember when this happened? And I'm like, no. But then they'll tell me and I'll be like, oh, that does sound like me.
Yeah. I mean? So I was probably there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I can't even guarantee it was definitely you on the radio show. I'm pretty sure it was. It felt like that was the time that I met you, but maybe it wasn't that time. No. Who the hell knows, man? You've just been one of those names that have been throughout West Yorkshire hip-hop the whole time, and it's like, yeah, there's Jay Bravo doing his thing.
Yeah, man.
But it's interesting, man. I was kind of looking at, like... where you at with your music, and what's the plans with it? Because most recently I saw that you put something out with Tony. You put a beat tape out with Tony on Released.
Yeah.
But yeah, you were about to say, sorry, bro.
No, that was it. Yeah, I did. So I'm trying to really expand on my production and like my awareness of it, because I think a lot of people. I was very surprised at how many people like don't know that I make beats. Even though I make most of the beats on my project. Yeah.
I think people just assume if you're rapping on them, so you got them from somewhere else.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And so I think it's just a testament, because production's always been my thing. So I think I might have been like so good a producer that people think I'm a rapper.
Would you say you're a producer first and foremost?
I'm a producer first, yeah.
Really?
Definitely.
Man, I would have thought of you as an MC / producer.
When I started rapping, I didn't know that many rappers, but I would have ideas of what I want on my beats.
Yeah.
So I would have to try to map out.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? And production, it was kind of like, it was writing was a way of learning, structuring basically, and learning, okay, how to do a hook, how to do 16 bars.
Yeah.
You know, what intros should sound like, and this and that. And so, and then I just kept doing it, just kept like loving doing it.
Yeah.
But like I said, a lot of my first raps, I'm like, oh goodness. I make somewhere I've got like a paper of my first raps, and I'm like, oh goodness.
Oh man, they're always a way like that.
But it's that guy that's got this guy here. Do you know what I mean?
Of course,
like
so you want to be known as a producer more than anything, like?
Yeah.
Have you produced for? Because I'm like, have you produced for loads of different artists? Like, I'm trying to think of like.
No, man. I think what happens is right. What happens is you get a lot of rappers, especially the ones I end up like working with or interacting with. What's happened more in today's hip hop scene is emulation is much more acceptable. So you're getting a lot more, oh, can't you make your stuff sound like Drake? Can't you make your stuff sound like this?
Yep.
Can you make drill?
Yep.
Can you make this and that? So it's very different. What happens with me is I always try to encourage originality as much as possible.
Yeah.
I'm like, let's just try our own thing.
Yeah.
And then it just gets to a point where people are like, oh, well, I'll just kind of find the person that I'm looking for.
Yeah, because I want it to sound exactly the same as everyone else. There's so many tunes in WY that are just like, you're just trying to sound like this, man.
Yeah.
Like,
so the person I met with most frequently was Dreadman, who now goes by the name Big Kush.
I remember hearing about
I probably worked with him the most and produced like the most. I did his first two albums. And then Alamat did his third one.
Yeah.
And I got a couple of beats on there. And then we worked on an album with his crew. And it got finished, but it just never came out.
Right.
He's probably the one I work with the most.
Yeah.
I'm currently working with an old friend of mine called Naughty. I've worked on his album.
Yeah.
So we'll just time will tell when that comes out.
One guy you're working with at the moment, Oliver Reese, who I'm excited. I hadn't even really heard of until maybe only the last 6 months or so, and the guy's incredible. I've actually done some stuff with him playing guitar. He's just like a really good all-rounder. But one thing that really resonated with me was he was like, I just like good music. Yeah. And I know exactly what he means. But you say that some people are like, fucking it's subjective in it. But it's like, nah, good music is good music. And that guy obviously spotted your work. How did you guys start working together? And
So Oliver Reese, I did a freestyle session down at Fubar with
Fubar, Maestro and all that.
Yeah.
Back in the day.
Yeah. With the Expandables. We went down there. We did one of their freestyle sessions, right?
Yep.
And through that, I sent them a couple of beats for people to freestyle on. It got used in 2 sessions. In one of the sessions, Oliver Reese was there.
Fuck off.
On one of my beats, and he was like, oh. And then when we met each other in Leeds, he was like, Bruce Leeds, I've heard of that. I think I've rapped on your stuff.
Nice.
You know what I mean? So,
perfect.
So then from there we met each other at different hip hop events. He ended up doing the album with Agent M.
Yep.
And then I just randomly started sending him some stuff.
Let me just back that up a second. Oliver Reese did an album with Agent M.
Yeah.
Did he?
Yeah.
What was that album called?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to check that out. I don't think I've heard that one.
Yeah,
fair enough.
And I was like, oh yeah, I just want to send you some stuff and just see how you feel about it.
Yep.
So the first session we did, he came to my studio, he brought his guitar.
Yeah.
We made a song with using like just
bits and pieces of that.
Just on the spot. Yeah. Just
Dope.
made the song, so that went out well. And then I just sent him some stuff and was just like, yeah, just see what you like. And he pretty much did a verse on everything. He did a verse on all of them. He just sent them back straight away.
Sick. I love people with a work rate like that. Amazing.
Like, but I was sending them for him to do songs on it. I was just sending him the beats. But then he sent them back. And it was just one verse and everything, so I thought, well,
perfect. Here comes a collab album.
Yeah, I just thought I might as well just finish them off with the other verse.
How many tracks are we talking?
7.
7, yeah? And you're going to put that out soon, yeah?
Yes. So the single is around the corner. Yeah, Bread.
Yeah, I heard you play that the other night, and I really liked it, man. Although Obi Joe's literally put a song out called Bread with Precinct Phantom on, where they're just talking about bread the whole time. So there's going to be a bit of a dub Y bread off, which I'm here for, man. I think it'd be good if
bread off, man.
If you get some finances together and do a 7-inch of an A-side and a B-side, both the Bread with you guys, that'd blow up, man. For real.
Yeah, definitely, man. If I'd have known that, I'd have got him on remix as well. We've done a remix of Bread and got some few.
Don't say shit like that. I'll put that together, man.
Yeah,
I'll be sending them this little video clip.
We'll do a part 3. We'll do a part 3 or part 4.
Yeah.
Whatever parts we're on.
Bread mix. Bread mixing.
The bread mix. Yeah. Bread.
So you briefly mentioned 2 crews there before that I need to cover with you. I'm trying to think which one came first, Expandables or The Office. I think The Office probably came first.
The Office came first. Yeah.
Talk to me about The Office, man. How did that come about?
So The Office is basically it was for the longest time wherever Alan Mack lived. So
who's Alan Mack?
Alan Mack.
I've never met him, but I always hear his name. Never met Alan Mack, but I hear his name. I see his name a lot.
He's that road, man. We'll go see him.
Is he the producer? Is he a producer?
Yeah, he's a producer. Yeah, he's from Portugal. He's lived here for quite a few years now.
Portugal, so he's got that link with Pagino, or is that?
I don't know. I think they met here. I don't know if.
Oh, that's just circumstantial. They're both Portuguese. Crazy.
There's quite a big Portuguese community now in Leeds.
Mad, fair play.
Yeah.
Sorry, so Alan Mack, so he brought it all together, did he?
So yeah, but he was an artist as well. He's a graph artist as well. So the first time I met him, he was working on my first album's cover.
Damn.
Yeah, and then at that time he was like, oh, I make beats as well, and he showed me some stuff, and then we lost touch. And then like a couple of years went by, and I got back in touch with Nico at a gig.
Yep.
And one of the beats he was rapping on was a beat I was writing on that was
an Alan Mack beat.
That was from this Alan Mack tape that I had, but I couldn't find the guy.
Yeah.
But then he's rapping on it. I'm like, oh shit. But then at the same time, I was like, I need you to get me in touch with that guy. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
And then we reconnected, and from there we was all frequenting Alan Mack's house.
So it's Alan Mack, you, Nico,
Optic.
Optic, he's the other one.
Science.
Who goes under Pro Optic as well, who's done some stuff for you in 2020, yeah. So Optic's still going. He was a skater. He came through to the cypher a couple of times.
Yeah.
Skater who's in 9 Lives with wigs, as far as I remember, but seemed to just disappear off. But like he's still
he's in Manchester. He's in Manchester.
Right. But he's still in touch and still doing stuff for them.
I think he's like an architect now. I think he does like. I think that draws up like blueprints for
big in the game.
Stuff. Yeah,
nice.
He's doing great.
Nice.
So we used to frequent there. It's argued where the name The Office comes from. I believe it comes from me because when I used to work at my dad's pub, he used to let us hang out upstairs. He used to let me and my brother hang out upstairs. My brother came up with the name The Office. Right. Because in his 21-year-old days, him and his mates used to come back to the pub and they'd have a couple of other extra people there. Yeah. I know how it goes. and to work in the office. So he used to call that station The Office, but I used to always be up there, like writing rhymes, listening to him.
So it's either you or your brother who came up with the name The Office?
No, my brother had The Office
that was
as a name for his
crew,
entourage, and his little thing.
Yeah.
So I think I got it from him and brought it to the studio to be called The Office. Yeah. It's debated. It's debated if it came from somewhere else.
What's the other somewhere else out of interest?
I don't know.
Okay.
You'll have to ask Nico.
Well, we haven't heard that story, so Nico might be like, have a really specific story.
He might have another story. Do you know what I mean?
Fair dues.
So, but The Office is essentially the name of the studio, and countless MCs used to
roll through
in there and make songs.
Yep.
But we was all individual artists. Do you know what I mean? Working there.
Yeah.
But then, it's always jump on this track, jump on that track.
As we were saying before, it's crews are stronger,
and it just kept developing like that. And before we knew it, we had just as many tracks together as we did apart. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
We would gig together, and man.
And so the where I know The Office most from is like The Office and DS Fam Cypher, which blew up on YouTube. Yeah. That's got like tens of thousands of views, man.
Yeah.
Was that all? Is that the height of your powers for The Office? Do you think is that the height of your success?
Yeah.
Because did you ever put much? Obviously, tracks and stuff you were putting out.
Yeah.
But was there ever like big releases?
No. I collected a couple of Office songs and put them on my Bandcamp.
Yeah.
And we are talking about putting some tapes together.
Oh, nice.
We are talking about putting some out.
Nice.
Just because we've got tracks there and we're like, look, let's just let the people hear them. Do you know what I mean?
What's your? I was going to talk about some other bits, but let's get onto that. Digitally, I'm well confused about your release history and your patterns, because there's some stuff that's like on streaming, and then there's some stuff that's just on your Bandcamp, and then there's some stuff you can only get in like YouTube, and I'm like, what's the theory thought behind that?
The stuff that's on YouTube should be the stuff that's on Spotify and other platforms as well.
Okay.
Because that's the material that I put out. On Invisible Circle, Agent M helped me put them out.
Yeah.
And they are they were basically done through COVID.
Right.
They were just like COVID. Our studio shut down because by then the office was based New Concept.
Okay.
It was based there, but then funds went down, so we had to just done that.
Either way.
So those tapes were basically made out of me not being able to record and being like, right, you've got material, you just
get it done.
Put it out now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no time, no way to procrastinate, and it's like, and there was nothing else to do. So that's there. All the stuff that's on Bandcamp is basically all my older stuff.
Really?
All the stuff that basically used to be CDs.
Because I saw the Lion tape on there from maybe 2020.
So that was a CD. Yeah, that used to be a CD.
There's some fire on that.
Yeah.
I was like, these are sick, and I've never heard these, and they're not on streaming, which just seems like a mad oversight on your part, because it's like people could be connecting to these and they're not. Because I think no one's on Bandcamp as much. Obviously, if you've got physical products, but they aren't going to listen to digital as much on there. So just chuck it all up.
No, definitely. There's no reason why not to. Do you know what I mean? but basically the Bandcamp was just just a collection of the stuff that used to be on CD. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
That's how I did it. Do you know what I mean? And also the Bandcamp is the space where I do write-ups and I write up how those albums were made and what.
Yeah. Well, it's nice you got the. Well, it'd be good to have them in both places.
Yeah,
basically what I'm saying.
definitely.
Like,
yeah, there's no reason why they can't be transferred.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
But right now, I'm probably just leaving that until these next releases that I do. I just want to focus on them.
These next releases, which include the Oliver Reese 7-tracker, and then
definitely.
what are the other releases?
I'm working on the beat tape.
Yeah, another Bruce Leeds.
On the beat tape. Like I said, The Office, we're putting together some stuff where it's like, look, we're
Any of this going to be physical?
Sorry?
Any of this going to be physical? CDs, records, tapes?
I want it to be, but it's just knowing who's who. Do you know what I mean? It's like, I don't really know any really good sources to do some really good packages, really good prices. So
really good prices. I know people. I don't know about really good prices, but if you can shift them in it, like.
I mean, negotiable basically, and people I can reach. The main thing right now is people I can actually talk to. Right now I'm only finding things online, and then they just want you to send the information and half the deposit. And I'm not really comfortable with people that I've
Whereas you want to know someone who you're shaking hands with and be like, oh, yeah, it's my boy, he's going to press it.
Yeah,
you know, that kind of thing,
and things like that. Do you know what I mean? I just want to know that there's a human being on the other side of
I could probably recommend you one who's pretty chatty, and they've always been good with me, that you could at least ask questions. But it's always going to come down to you having to send something over, this and that, and all the rest of it. It's like...
I'd say this, like I said, in this time, I would love to do the USB thing and be able to sell the USBs, but
that's cool.
They're not cheap to be able to do it like that. It's not cheap.
I don't know how much people are bothered. I mean, I have this conversation with a few people, because I had this conversation with Chemistry actually from Huddersfield Way, and we were talking about like releases, because there was a time when you just put it on CD, people would buy it. You put it on record, people would buy it. But now, like, people don't buy CDs or records, but they won't buy a USB off you. They don't really want tapes unless they got a tape player. So then, what physical products are you giving them? Like maybe a T-shirt.
Yeah, it's really mad, because that's what I'd rather. It's like, do I just invest in selling T-shirts right now?
One thing I'm doing, because you can do print-on-demand T-shirts. So like with my band crew, my Jamatoni, like every time we put a release out, I'm like, put the artwork on a T-shirt and at least make that available online or whatever. Like, seems to be a way of extracting some money out of people for like the work that you're doing. But
definitely, if I was to do it, it would be CD or what I'd be looking into doing. I'd just be like, because it's small, it's compact, you can go on the shelf. That's the way I'd want to do it. But you know,
how many records have you got with your name on? Obviously, you've got the one we spoke about before, Junkyard Tactics, which is a massive thing. Are there any other vinyl with your name on?
Oh, vinyl. If first we're all right, doing good.
Keeping your average up. That's 5.
If First Word Records did vinyls,
they did.
Of their first syllable, 2 syllables. Yeah, if they did vinyls of that, then I had a song on there.
But it's not out on vinyl. Is it? So Junkyard Taxis is the only vinyl with your name on?
Yeah, that I released,
That's mental, man. We need to change that up, man.
Yeah, man. But, you know, like I said, there's stuff there, and I'd definitely be up for it. But yeah, like I said, it's just knowing who's who.
Yeah.
And
is that Oliver Reese coming out? That Oliver Reese project's coming out. What? Just digital.
Bread is coming. Bread is round the corner, and the EP shouldn't be too.
Doing a video for it
as well. I'll be talking with it. I'll be talking
maybe in a bakery and that.
Reese. Yeah.
Some white chef hats.
I've been talking with Reese, and I said that I know a bakery that I could probably approach, because I know someone that works there.
Nice.
So I'm gonna approach them and see if it's possible.
That would be sick, man.
To maybe do it. You know what I mean?
Why not? Man?
I think that we should give it a go. Do you know what I mean?
Defo, man.
And I know they've got quite a large facility as well.
Yeah, nice. So going back to The Office, and then where's the crossover for the Expandables, and who's in the Expandables? So I'm still trying to understand about your crews.
So the Expandables is me, Nico, CDB, and DJ Tipsy.
Oh, okay.
And that was just us having fun.
Yeah. You did a few gigs with them, right? Are you still doing gigs with them now?
The last one we did was Cool Keith. We opened up for Cool Keith.
Oh, sick.
That went under the homebrew kit.
What's homebrew kit?
Homebrew kit is DJ M's radio station. Radio show. It's radio show.
Yeah.
And Technico and Matta were hosting that.
Nice.
And Tips and Tipsy ended up on there as well, being a co-host and the engineer.
Right. So you jumped up on stage like with
so
them
I
as
jumped
part
up
of
on
it.
stage, and so, but what happened is Matta couldn't make it that day, so it ended up being me, T, and Nico.
So it was Expandables, basically, apart from CD,
that was apart from CD, but yeah, it was that vibe.
I saw that you definitely were on top of a float at the carnival one time. I remember you guys were spitting on top of I'm sure a moving truck a few years ago, maybe pre-COVID. Were you guys spitting bars in a carnival? What, that long ago that you can't remember? I swear there was a picture of that.
On the floor. I don't know if it was on the floor.
I know you were on stage. I remember the stage.
Stage.
What did you have on a T-shirt? Something Matter.
Oh, Back Off Matter.
Off Matter.
Yeah, Back Off Matter.
Back Off Matter. Because that's a song that was on that Lion tape
that
I was on.
That was on Stop Out.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, so yeah.
What is the Back Off Matter thing?
Like? So it's a play on
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter, but a back off is slang for a big batty on a woman.
Because you were all there with them T-shirts on. Like, I wonder what he means. I wonder whether it was like, people fighting. No, you need to back off and just chill out. No, it was if they got some big ass.
Got a back off. Yeah. That's what it meant.
Up on the biggest stage of your life for the thousands of people. I'm like, representing for that.
I got to make more of them T-shirts. That actually worked really well at Carnival. A lot of people was laughing at them T-shirts.
Nice. Good shit, man. Is that the most people you played in front of, would you say? Because you've done some crazy
Carnival,
gigs.
Yes, but not at that time schedule. The biggest one we did was probably when I performed with Junkyard Tactics, same event, but it was like 4 o'clock. Like 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So
peak time, good weather.
Yeah, it was peak audience.
So you played with Junkyard Tactics on the main stage man. Jealous of that, man. That's crazy numbers.
Yeah, but it was funny because the year before that, we did the 1 o'clock spot where nobody was there. but later on that day, I was talking with people and they were like, oh, no, in fact, it would have been the next day, they'd been at the carnival, and people was like, I saw you on TV. I'm like, no, you didn't. I'm like, no, you didn't. He was like, yeah, you was on calendar. I was like, doing what? It was like, we was on stage.
Oh, sick. So someone filmed you?
Yeah, the calendar, the ITV, they were there. But what it had been is because they needed what they were doing the coverage to put it on. Yeah, all right, boss. Because he was on coverage and they had to put it on the TV that night, so basically they was there as early as possible.
Oh, I see.
We was like the only
and you got that
spot.
Was on. So you're on calendar,
like,
bro.
Literally, and then someone had taped it or recorded it somewhere, and it was mad because it was like calendar is like so the Leeds Carnival and this and that, and first thing you see is me on the mic.
Bravo spin.
Yeah, it was like I was
yes. But your family were like,
it was mad.
Amazing.
Was mad. I was like, that was pretty cool. But it was just one of them where I learned that, when you get like the bleacher sets or them early, nobody's there.
Give it 100. Give it 100.
You don't know who's there.
Don't know who's watching, man. Well, they do this.
There,
they always say this at like Edinburgh Fringe or something. No one will turn up to your show as a comedian. There'll be 2 people in the show and they half-arse it, and then one of them will be like the write-up guy for The Guardian or something, and then you just did a shit show to the guy who was like, could have put you on, put another 100 people in the seat, so you've always got to give it 100% regardless of who's watching,
that's
innit?
it. Yeah, I learned that very quickly.
Good,
but,
man.
it was like, Monks was always like that. He was the same. Look, we're just up there, we're just having fun, man.
Yeah.
So yeah,
nice.
It was pretty.
Well, we were talking about performance, so we'll get back on to Drop, which was a night that you've played a lot of times and had a good place in your heart for, and that stopped recently, and I've spoken to a few people now where I'm like, it's not that it's any fault of Mix, because what he did was like amazing for the scene to put people on, but it was so sad that platform doesn't exist anymore. And you were saying it's potentially going to go again, or
well,
is it just
I mean, for me, it's like, the same reasons I heard, the same reasons you heard of why he's
old and tired
and
poor.
And it's that kind of thing. And so but after we did the last drop, he put up on the comments, he was like, maybe one more. So it's clear that he does not want to stop, but
there's not a lot of money in it.
He just needs that help. Yeah, so
it's a fool's game, man. Have you ever promoted yourself?
Yeah, I've tried.
And it's hard work, man. It's no messing about. People turn up late, mess around, shut up.
We put on an event last year. Me and my guys, we put on an event, and we ended up making it a free event, and we got set back like a $1.5 grand. Like,
fuck. Where was that?
That was at the West Indian Centre. We was putting on we put on a nice little gala, do you know what I mean? And just stalls there. We didn't charge no one for stalls, and my friend brought down his boxing machine, and we got a stage, we got bouncy castle and stuff like that, and we did that for free. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that set us back like a good $1.5 grand.
$1.5 grand.
Yeah, man.
Trying to do some positive thing for
put an event
so
on. It was one of them. So like,
it's sad,
we'd
man.
love to have done another one, but it's like we just can't
Afford to do this.
We'll all end up homeless if we.
There has to be a way, man. It's something like I'd like to talk to people like Monk about, because I feel like there has to be a platform. There has to, you know, if you're a young MC coming through like early 20s in Leeds and you want to like get on a set somewhere, where do you go now? Who do you holler for a set?
Yeah.
But it'd be lyrically justified at one point. Can't do that anymore. Then it'd be dropped. Can't do that.
I've been talking with a few guys. We're trying to set up something at the lodge. We've got our first event is on the 19th of June.
Oh yeah. At the lodge.
That's up at the lodge. It says near Potton Park in that area.
Oh, okay, nice.
So we're trying to set a platform.
And what's that going to be, like a hip hop and?
Yeah, hip hop, and it'll probably expand from hip hop. Do you know what I mean? Like. We're trying to set that on a regular basis where people can be able to jump on the mic and do the thing. Yeah. So yeah, and like I said with Mick, it was that kind of thing where I've been talking with him. Well, I've been having little talks with him. I'm just gonna let him break, but I want to try to figure out ways of where we can try to just raise funds, because really, and be able to keep that going. Because he's got the setup, and I wasn't really aware that was all his stuff, and he was.
I didn't know that until I saw it online. And I was like, well, fair play to him carting all this. I thought Primrose would have their own kit. Like most venues should. Like, that make a lot of sense.
So I think if enough of us
got behind it,
bound together and got behind it, we might be able to.
It's always the financial problem, innit? Because right now, like, there's no money in luxury industry, which, like, unfortunately, music comes under the category of. So very few people. I've got quids to shove out that sort of thing.
It's like no one's going cinema anymore.
Word.
It's like that. Do you know what I mean? Everyone's like, if you've got a decent enough HD screen at home,
you can get the job done, innit? Like, why would you?
There's not many reasons to go to the cinema.
Only for like 3D stuff that you can't achieve at
home.
Or
if it's just you really want to see that movie right now.
Yeah.
But then even now, if movies don't do great at the cinema now, oh goodness, they're on TV within a month. Like, do you remember when you used to watch a film and then it'd take like 2 years for it to end up on VHS and then
you're like grabbing at it. It's like, please.
And then it'd get on TV and it was like the cut version. It's like all the swearing took out, all the violence is took out. Everything's do you know what? Last time I watched them, The Witches. Remember The Witches?
I do remember The Witches.
Last time I watched it, it was on BBC, and they cut out all the transformation scenes of the Grand High Witch. And it's like, that's the main part of the movie, is that when she pulls off her skin and there's a big
and they took that out why? To make it more kid-friendly?
Yeah. And it's like, this is a PG. They didn't care about us when we were young.
Nah, they didn't, man.
Like,
Watership down.
We had to watch that.
And how'd you find? So, it's because of the instantaneousness of everything in it. The fact that you can just see everything online or what have you.
All right.
But you're keeping up the average of seeing someone every 5 minutes who knows you. That's sick as fuck. Well, how are you finding social media? Like, is it killing you? Because obviously that's a quick way of getting your music out there. But I don't know how much you're embracing that as like, because I don't see you trying to put your name out loads. You're not like on some listen to J Bravo all day long.
Yeah, it was something that I'd always said that I seen DJ Sarah Love say on an interview recently, and she said the good thing about social media and the internet is that anybody can put the music up there, they can put the videos up there, they can put all the content up there.
Yep.
The bad thing about it is anyone can do it.
Yeah, it's just properly saturated.
So it is very overly saturated with a lot. So there's a lot of, I think what's with social media is the problem is that it's still media, and so you're getting a lot of people that are not media trained that are putting content out there, that are putting opinions out there. And the consequences of these things, people are not being able to handle. Like, they're like,
overload of influence.
Yeah, and there's an overload of backlash and oh my God, I didn't think people would say such negative things about what I have done. I'm only trying to do this, or do you know what I mean? They're not ready for that. They're not ready for if something that they've done is defamation of character, if it's against copyright,
I get you.
If you're getting demonetized, or like you could get demonetized for that guy for playing that tune.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
You can be like, okay, can't earn money here. So
totally.
There's a lot of things like that where it's because people are you're just able to just do it.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean? So there's a lot of things that people are not aware of, and they're just finding out
Have you found as a result of that you're just like,
no,
you know what I mean?
I've been all right with it because, like I said, I went down to BBC and did a couple of workshops down there and was kind of made somewhat aware of how media is supposed to be treated, you know what I mean, and how you're supposed to present it and the things that they have to be very careful of.
I see.
So I'm a bit more particular of what I put out there. Yeah. But at the same time, I'm trying to just get a little bit more content out there.
You need to, man. What's the long-term plan for J Bravo? Because obviously you've been in the game for a long time. I personally feel like you are not at the height that you could be. I feel like you could be is it that you want to get them beats out? Because like you could be producing for anyone in the UK right now and absolutely smashing it. Your beats are sick as fuck and really individual, original, like good stuff. So why the hell, you know, what is the plan? I mean,
the plan is just to get better at working with sound and just trying to just explore it as a transferable skill and just trying to see in what ways that I can make it lucrative.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was able to do was get onto a scheme where I was trained to work on the film set for a Channel 4 show. Yeah. That's going to be around hopefully this year, maybe next year at this point. We'll just have to see.
So it's kind of the transferable skills that you know in your production
the stuff
and stuff
I was able to, with production, I was able to be a trainee for for a TV show.
Nice.
So yeah.
Good shit.
I don't know. I got to through that. I got to meet Phil Cape, who worked on This Is England.
Oh right, okay. So you're making some big connections with stuff like that.
I got to work with him. Yeah. Fantastic guy.
Yeah.
Very cool. And considering the schedule that we had, you know, he always took the time out to give me some advice to make sure I was clued up and skilled up on the duties. And I'm very, very privileged.
So the next step for J Bravo is being big in the TV game.
Yeah, well, you know, it's just, I hope so. You know, I got this was through the National Film and Television School, the NFTS.
Yeah.
They had a department in the upper Bailey Road where YTV are.
Yeah.
They had they've got. The old Emmerdale studios.
I know it.
They've got a few offices that were in there.
Nice.
And that's where we were based. And they took 10 people from our area and trained us up.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Nice.
And so it was very honored, man.
Yeah.
To get to do it. Do you know what I mean? And we was there for a good 6 months.
Yeah.
And I just tried to just soak up as much information as I can. And
try
to make as much connections as I can, and hopefully that's kind of an avenue that I can explore.
Just on the side, it would be sick to see you work with as many, sick to see you have produced for as many West Yorkshire good rappers, people that you want to work with as you can, and outside of your crew as well, people that you don't necessarily work with and stuff like that. If you were able to make a beat tape available to people of just beats you've got, loops you've got, and get people spitting, I reckon you could get so many sick people with J Bravo name on as well. I think it'd just be
one thing I'd love to do is I'd love to make music for a video game. I'd love to do that. Yeah, and I'd love to know how that works, how programming music for a video game works, because of course it has to vary and change depending on what part of the stage it is or this and that. So I'd love to know how that
There's a lot of independent, more than ever, independent video game making is happening. So there must be opportunities for people who are sat down programming right now, you know what I mean? Even if it's app games on phones or whatever, that kind of thing still requires music and stuff, innit?
I'd love to. Anybody that knows anything about that and is looking for...
Shout out to them. Give you a shout, man.
Definitely, yeah.
Amazing stuff. Well, J Bravo, I'm probably going to call it there, if that's all right with you, man. Yeah. It's been a really good do. Big fuck up. Thanks so much for coming through.
It's all right, man. No problem, problem.
Big fuck up.
Yeah, man.
So that was J Bravo, in between the chops of people saying hi to him. He's an absolute legend. It's so great that he could join me. Please go check all his music out. His beats are sick as well. And if you're a rapper and you didn't know he produced, go and holler him for some beats, man. Until next time, big up.